Hi, welcome to insPAWed. I'm Cindy Morgan, and this is my co-host Nigel. And today we're joined by Haley Miller of Soul Dogs Resources and Rescue Center, serving both Haverhill and Salem, Massachusetts. Haley's journey began with her rescue dog, Kahlúa. At first, he was shy and kept his distance, but after spending hours patiently sitting with him, one moment of connection changed everything. Kahlúa became more than a companion. He became Haley's service dog, her source of strength through life's transitions, and the reason she's still here today. Inspired by that bond, Haley created Soul Dogs Resources and Rescue Center, turning healing, resilience, and love into a mission that now helps others and their dogs. So welcome, Haley, and welcome, Kahlúa, to the show.
Thanks for having us.
So excited to learn everything about Kahlúa.
There's plenty to learn.
So, you know, the show has 5 core questions, and the first one is always tell us about your pet or the animal that inspired your business or purpose. So tell us all about this beautiful bond.
Yeah, well, so in order to start telling you, the story with Kahlúa, I have to start with Xavier. Xavier was actually my very first dog. He was my soul dog. He was a Rottweiler, my dream dog, he fit every box that I had. And I was walking in, mind you, I was living in a campus, college campus, so I was in a dorm. I had adopted this 80-pound Rottweiler from the rescue center. And I was like, okay, cool, I got my dream dog. And, we went for a walk or whatever, and he laid on the ground and he wouldn't get up. And I was like, ooh, okay. Come to find out, and negative $800 later in my bank account.
Oh, goodness, yeah.
Xavier actually had hip dysplasia in both hips to the point where he needed surgery on both of them. And I went to the shelter and I was like, how come no one noticed? This Rottweiler literally can't walk. And they're like, it's a volunteer thing.
How old was the Rottweiler at the time?
2 years. He was 2 years old.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
So that's probably why it was probably given up, you think?
I have no idea. He was the perfect dog. Great temperament, amazing attitude, just play.
Great name, Xavier.
Yeah,
Love
he
that.
was just the cutest. I saw his picture and I was like, I'm just going to go meet him. I went out with him the same day. And I paid the adoption fee and everything, and, there was nothing that they could do. And I was like, I have to make a call that I don't want to make. And I actually had to return Xavier to the shelter, where then I got Kahlúa. When I actually met Kahlúa, he was hidden in the back of the kennel in a tiny corner. He's got thick fur, obviously, and you could see his skin through it. He had a gash on his nose. Terrified. So, we went out into the yard for 2.5 hours with him. He was skulking around the edge, didn't really interact with me. I was just, talking with the guy there, the adoption agent.
And how old was Kahlúa at that time?
Roughly 2.
Okay.
I think he's like a little bit older, so he's somewhere around that age. But I mean, every rescue dog is 2.
Right. Yeah, it seems like that.
It's hard to tell.
Seems like that.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, his brown undercoat, he should be named Kahlúa. He looked at me and I was like, okay, I'll take him.
And
we
you
ended
took
up going.
Kahlúa. That's how you met.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So when you brought Kahlúa home, when did you start realizing that there was way more of a backstory than you probably ever imagined?
I don't even know. Getting a rescue dog is hard to begin with, and a lot of the shelter situation down south is very different. They have municipal shelters. We don't have that up here.
Yeah.
We don't have a county shelter that's open, so not every dog gets taken in up here, which, is part of the issue that we have with the overflowing shelters. With Kahlúa's story kind of specifically, I used to work 12-hour shifts at a vet hospital in Florida,
okay.
Which that's a long day, especially for him. He's an active dog, whatever.
Right.
And so I ended up taking him to a daycare, and I was training him to be my service dog for class and everything, which was going great. He was coming to class with me. He was doing his alerting. It was absolutely amazing because he did it on his own. And I was like, oh, wow, great. And I do have a disability, so it worked out just perfectly. And I was like, okay, the whole thing with Xavier is really sad, but, this could work. And it's kind of crazy because I will always say I love my dog. I really do. I love Kahlúa, but he's not the dog I wanted.
Right.
He's the dog I needed.
Right.
Simply because of the fact he was attacked while we were working. And so he was a reactive dog, and that taught me a lot about, animal training and what happens in rescue. And it's like, okay, there has to be some sort of cycle or something that I can do about this.
Right. So that's my second question usually is, what moment made you realize your pet had sparked something bigger? So tell us, what moment made you realize your pet had sparked something bigger?
Yeah, so Kahlúa, as much as I love him, he's a high energy, high drive dog, and come with that energy can come a little bit of behavior challenges. So he was attacked, unfortunately, and that led to some, animosity towards other dogs, reactivity, never a bite risk, which is really great because,
Yes.
There are dogs who would get attacked once and, they have to do like a behavioral euthanasia.
And this
something
attack
like that.
happened prior to you adopting.
No, it actually happened when I was with him.
Oh, let's have a conversation about that.
Yeah. So we were actually here on vacation. It was like Christmas break or something. And I called everyone. I was like, hey, I have a dog. And they're like, what the heck? Like, what do you mean? I was like, you'll see. You'll meet him. And they're like, okay. So, I actually brought him home to my mom's house out in Salisbury. And ultimately, we were walking and there was another little dog. It was a miniature poodle, and he attacked Kahlúa, and I was like,
not that we don't love mini poodles.
I do love them. No, I do
we love all
a good
dogs,
poodle.
but all dogs are
I do.
reactive,
Yes.
right? You just never know.
Yes, yeah. So it was just, a bad mix. That happens a lot, especially in the animal care industry. This dog can't go with that dog. This dog loves everybody,
Same with people.
Exactly. Yeah, no, exactly.
Try planning a wedding or an event.
Yeah, exactly. And so, Kahlúa, the next time we had gone out, like, he was lunging, he was pulling, he was barking, he was like choking himself because
Yeah,
he
like
was trying
PTSD,
to, pull so
right?
hard. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And I was like, okay, we gotta figure this out.
Right.
I started training when I was in high school. Now I'm a certified dog trainer, which is crazy to have gotten that little piece of paper in the mail.
Yes, that's wonderful.
And so through Soul Dogs, we actually have our program called the Reactivity Triad. So it actually evaluates more of like the human and the actual behavior of what the dog's doing and their triggers.
Oh my goodness, how much is it the human?
A lot. No, it's a lot,
I know it
and
is.
it's so funny because I think the number one issue with dog owners who have reactive dogs is they don't recognize that it's reactivity. They think it's like, oh, he's just high energy. It's like, okay, like I understand that. So one thing that we do is the very bottom of the tier is like, okay, you're the owner, right?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, what's your schedule every day? Do you take the dog out at the same time? Does your dog get enough walks? Does your dog play?
Getting that energy out.
Yeah,
Getting
that
that
makes
energy
a huge
out.
difference, So we make sure that their, mental well-being is being met, their physical needs, their mental needs, because, I can't put Kahlúa in a single room because he ate a house one time. Because I didn't exercise my dog.
Even today, walking into the studio, Nigel, for some reason, when anybody walks into the studio with their dog, he like almost thinks he has ownership of the space. And I know that completely about him. So the way I overcome that is I say, great, go back out into the waiting room. Yeah. We'll come out there. And for some reason, it resets Nigel to think, oh, now we're kind of equal coming into the space.
Yes, exactly.
But you're right. If a dog owner doesn't, not everybody reads their dogs correctly. Nigel has to do nothing. You're probably in the same exact way. I just know.
Yeah, and our approach is there's modification and then there's management.
Right.
Two totally different things, two totally different responses, but they have great things. A lot of the times you can do the modification like I did with Kahlúa. Again, he was not able to be near dogs like a year and a half ago, and now he's totally fine.
Right. Great.
A lot of people currently say that reactivity training takes 2.5 years. That's not technically true. It's not true, I promise you. As long as you're making the effort as the owner, it's like, you have your owner responsibilities, so step up to the plate, understand them, and that's part of like why animal research is so important at the beginning. Breed research, if you're gonna get a dog, like we help with that. We do that for you to pair you up with a dog that fits your lifestyle. That's why we have a rigorous adoption process.
Right. Wow, that's amazing. And you're so needed in this world because there's a lot of fosters, there's a lot of background stories of, not always the best stories. And the dogs, cats, animals in general are just not getting a fair shake because they're not understanding the background.
Yeah.
So what's one lesson your pet has taught you that shows up every day in your business or in your community?
Well, I think, dealing with a reactive dog, it's like, oh my gosh, like, why are you doing this? It's like super annoying. Like, can you just stop lunging at them? Like, you're being over dramatic. And it's like, okay, I had that same thought. I understand it. It's super easy to think like that.
I
it's
have
like,
a Chalky that's crazy.
Yeah, it's like this dog's being freaking annoying. It's like, come on, dude, like I'm gonna shake you, like stop. And then, you know, like I kind of sat there and I was like, you know what? No.
Takes a lot of direction.
Yeah. So if you think of like an emotional regulation in a toddler, okay?
Yes. Good
Very
analogy.
similar brain wave, very similar attention span, you know, wavelength, the whole thing. Very similar learning styles with children. And I'm not good with kids, but if I have to work with kids, I do what I do with my dogs.
Right. Right. It's very true.
You know, children don't have emotional regulation. They don't have it well because they can't verbally communicate it half the time. Neither can our dogs.
They don't even know what they want half the time.
Yeah, that's true too.
Right.
And our dogs can't tell us, hey, like I'm stressed. Like we have to watch out for that. There are so many minor signs, you know, especially those people where it's like, oh, this bite happened out of nowhere. If you had taken a video, I'm willing to point out that there were 18 different minuscule signs that you just didn't notice.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not to say like, oh, like you're doing a bad job, because you're not. It's really hard to see that. It's hard to the untrained eye, which is why there are behavior professionals, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like wild, you know? So I kind of sat there and I was like, you know what? We're going to try this. And so a couple of times I had taken him out, you know, close quarters with the dog, wouldn't listen. Further quarters with the dog, okay, he sees that there's a dog over there, but he's still taking treats from me. So the closer you get, the more stressed he is.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
So that's part of like the whole modification treatment anyway that we do, that we focus on is, you know, that. But a lot
Is
of
it considered desensitization?
exactly,
right?
desensitization. Exactly.
Desensitization.
But it's funny because all my reactive dog clients, they're like, oh, let's go outside first. I'm like, no. We don't go do outside training for like a month and a half.
That's a whole different game.
Yeah.
Because Nigel is canine good citizen.
Okay.
And, right, what seems perfect in the house, in a perfect, quiet environment, is one layer. Then the next layer is bring him even outside in your backyard, and now you have, you know, birds and bees and things going around. More distractions. A stick is even a distraction.
Exactly. Yeah. And so our definition of, you know, reactivity is it's like a response to a stimuli. That's as simple as it is. It's just like if you did something that made you nervous and you're like, oh my God, I'm having a panic attack, you're responding to a stimuli that's stressing you out. Think about it the way in our dogs. It's simple as that. I think it's crazy.
Right.
You know, it's such a simple way of thinking about it, but, you know, it makes the most sense. So when I do have, you know, a client and they're like, oh my God, my dog's nuts, I need your help. It's like, all right, let's play some games in the house first. And they're like, what do you mean? Like, he's leash reactive. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, I understand that.
Right.
However, you need their mental brain. So we do a lot of impulse control. We do a lot of hand-eye engagement games. So it's literally holding a treat out and they're like staring at you instead. And then, you know, Cindy Lou Who could be over there like talking or whatever.
Right.
You know, and that makes a huge difference because same thing with a toddler, if we slow them down and teach them that you're allowed to make your own decisions and I will respect your decisions, the reactivity changes. I had one of my favorite girls, Marvel. Oh, she's so sweet. She's a pity girl. She was a rescue dog out in Boston, actually, that I worked with her. Her mom was out of town, and I was pet sitting her, and highly reactive. You know, they hadn't been there for very long. This dog is still learning the city environment, barking at everything, very anxious overall because it's a new place, new things. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
You know, and I was only with her a couple of days. I think it was only a weekend. And her mom, I mean, I understand it. We had our safe places. You know, her mom's like, there's this little park. Don't go anywhere else but this park. It's like, okay, yeah. You know, but I integrated this modification kind of game that I do with every reactive dog for the reactivity triad. And it made such a difference because by the end of those few days, I was like on the sidewalk walking this dog and she wasn't really lunging as bad. And she was able to, you know, like walk down the little corridor and be like, oh my gosh, a dog, but I want to look at you, you know, and just watching that change in only 3 days, you know, and I think breaking it down like that, it's like, all right, if you had a toddler, if it was like you, like, what would you want? You'd want somebody to understand that.
We teach our toddlers how to share,
yes.
wait their turn. It's all the same thing.
Exactly.
So I have a Chorky at home, half Chihuahua, half Yorkie, Ollie. And I really took a lot of cues from Nigel when I first got Ollie. Okay. Nigel was 6. Ollie comes in at, 10 weeks old. And when he would be all over Nigel would completely ignore him.
Yeah.
And I said, that's really my teacher right now.
Because
Ollie was looking to Nigel for direction, and Nigel just would ignore him until he finally settled down. Then Nigel would look over at him, and I said, oh my goodness.
Yeah, and that's why I have to sacrifice my own dog, and I kind of feel bad for our reactive dogs that come in to do a temperament.
Yeah.
But I mean, Kahlúa's been through it. He knows what to expect. You know, if we need muzzles, fine, whatever. But it's like, you know, the best teacher, like, you're not an animal.
Right.
You know, like, you can't teach them everything because we communicate in different ways. A lot of people personify their dog's behaviors. It's like, oh my gosh, like, he's having a meltdown. It's like, okay, like, I get the personification, but not technically.
Yeah, we always want to humanize our pets. Everything. I know. It's such a funny thing that we do. I don't quite understand why we do that, but I guess it's only because we're human.
I think it's more because it's like the companion aspect. It's like, you know, I feel not like bullied, but a little outcasted from the rest of the world. And it's like, but I have this creature who's, you know, a lot of people are very much like their dogs. And so it's like, you know, this is my person. This is my soul dog. They understand it. They can be there when I need them to. Or if like, hey, like, you're pissing me off, get off my bed, you know?
Right.
I know, my dog takes up the bed. I get it.
So how has your pet helped you connect with your customers and community? And I really would like to tap in a little bit about college life. I've talked about this before, how a lot of young adults are off to college and they have to leave behind their beloved pet. And it helps them with so much. So you were allowed to bring your dog in with you. That's wonderful.
Yeah, so I did have Kahlúa in the dorm with me. He was emotional support / service animal. He had been training from emotional support to go to service animal. So now he is technically a certified animal. Yep. Not certified, that's like not a thing.
Right.
Certified service dog is not a thing. It is your trainer and you who make that decision. Yes, owner-trained service dogs are a thing. However, the only way your dog is a service dog is that it was actively task trained to aid in a disability.
Understood. Okay.
So a lot of people kind of like, you know, gray that area together. It's like, oh, I'm anxious. And it's like, I understand that. However, I also have raging anxiety, and I also just actually got diagnosed with bipolar 2 disorder, so manic. And, you know, and I have my depressive episodes, and Kahlúa is actually trained to respond to that by, you know, sensing the heart rate increase, the panic, the mania, and he actually does what's called DPD. It's called deep pressure therapy. So he'll be like, hey, like, you're like, you know, something's wrong with you, like, you know, like, hey, like, you're doing too much. I need you to, like, chill out for a minute. And he'll lay across my stomach and my chest to help regulate my heart rate back.
Oh my goodness, how fascinating.
Yeah, so there are absolutely service dogs for anxiety, you know, but I feel like a lot of the other current generations might get a lot of hate as a statement. It's not a lot of anxiety, it's just you're not sure how to exist in this kind of world. There's a lot of controversy going on in this world nowadays.
Absolutely. Well, I think, too, that doesn't help this whole entire topic is the ones who are abusing it.
Absolutely, yeah. I've seen it multiple times.
With everybody, let's not pretend it's happening. You know, this is my support ostrich. You know, this is my support. You know, I'm going a little extreme here.
No, but it's happened. That's the sad part is that's happened
what's happening,
before.
like anything else in the world, is when any topic gets abused, it's not the topic, any privilege gets abused.
Yeah, absolutely.
It ruins it for everybody else.
It does.
And I have a real strong, boy, this is such a trigger for me, but it's such a good value point, is Nigel is absolutely not a service dog. He is not a comfort dog. I do not ever fake that he is to get him anywhere.
Yeah.
And I absolutely could go online and buy him all the gear that says he is and play the game. And I refuse to do that because it's not fair to the people that really need that service.
Yes.
We're going to ruin it for everybody who does.
Yeah.
So that's just my soapbox on that topic.
Yeah,
but
no, you're absolutely correct on that. You know, I mean,
it's have some pride.
Yeah, Kahlúa has definitely helped me, you know, in the aspect of being a service dog because I have PTSD from being a domestic violence survivor.
Yeah.
So, you know, if people raise their voice and I like shudder and I tense, one thing he'll do is he'll actually step between me and the person who's yelling. I didn't teach him that. This man learned that on his own. And I was like, what? Like, you are an animal with 4 legs and the teeny tiniest little brain, but you know when I'm stressed. It's amazing.
And you're right about, it may have not been the dog you wanted,
Exactly.
But it definitely was the dog. I could cry over that. That's a dog you needed, honest to goodness. If they find us, everything finds its match somehow.
And so going back to the college thing, I did have Kahlúa in college. A lot of people were like, oh my God, you have a dog. Like, he was a social media absolute celebrity on the campus.
I bet.
He does have his own Instagram, which started at the college.
Oh, we got to follow each other because Nigel does too.
Absolutely. Yes, we love that.
Plug it out there after we'll get to that.
Yeah. And, I was not doing good. Trigger warning. I had attempted to commit suicide, when I was in middle school, and then I had tried again in college because I was not doing well. I was on the other side of the country, away from my family, and classes weren't going well. And mind you, this is before the bipolar 2 disorder diagnosis. Yep. So I had no idea why I was feeling so awful, and it's like, oh my gosh, why am I even going to college? Like, I'm not worth, the whole thing.
Yeah, you were navigating with a lifeboat with some holes in it, right? How are you supposed to get down the river with that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this is how things show themselves, right? Yeah. You pulled up, this is why you're so wonderful at being a dog trainer, seriously, because you pull any animal out of their situation, and they're reactive, and then add in all the components of what they've lived, seen, felt. Yeah. That's why you're so great at it.
Yeah, and all of our fosters, we are looking for more fosters for domestic violence survivors, because if they need out, I'm trying to remember the percentage. I think it's like 83% of domestic violence survivors stay in that environment because they have pets. That's a big number.
Absolutely. So let me digest this for a little bit.
Yes.
They're not leaving their situations because they don't want to leave their pet behind, because they're barely figuring out where they're going to go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I guarantee, and I never thought of this, the shelters that they're going into can't bring in pets.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Haley, this is such oh God, we got to have a part 2. I mean, that's a whole other conversation.
Well, I can add a little bit into that. I don't live with my dog.
You don't live with your dog?
I do not live with my dog. He lives in East Hampton, Massachusetts. It's 2.5 hours from here, because I don't have housing that will allow my dog. However, I get to go see him whenever I want.
Yes.
Photo updates, the whole thing. And it's like, this woman, her name's Michelle. She's absolutely one of the most amazing people I've ever met on this planet.
What an earth angel, seriously.
She truly is. And I've been given a 3-week time limit for my dog to go find somewhere, and I was like, 3 weeks is not enough. And the other thing is, he's reactive. If he were to ever go into a shelter, Kahlúa would get euthanized.
Right.
Especially because of his shelter behavior that I had seen when I had adopted him. And unfortunately, that happens a lot, and if you're going through domestic violence, you don't want your dog to get euthanized, because that dog is your literal soul.
Well, it's your lifeline.
It's your soul dog. It's your lifeline. So, eventually that's something I'd like to have, is like domestic violence housing with your pet, guaranteed kind of thing eventually. Later in the future. So
Kahlúa would be also on the list with the homeowners insurance. You know how they ask rental insurance, homeowners insurance. There's like this list of the, top 10 breeds that they don't like.
Kahlúa is very much on that list, unfortunately.
So this causes a lot of difficulties, and my goodness.
It's the most heartbreaking thing, because it took me so long to find someplace for him. I was ready to live in my car with my dog.
Right.
I would much rather him be safe rather than me,
Right.
And a lot of people say that, and that's why that domestic violence number is so high. And it's heartbreaking. It's like, all right, like, I can do more about this. So, we're looking for temporary fosters for that particularly. We do training with you guys. Like, we provide all of the materials. You don't have to buy a single thing.
So tell us the name of your business.
So Soul Dogs Resources and Rescue Center. So I'm happy about it because it's a really, truly all-inclusive company.
Yep.
We do pet services, we do pet sitting, training. Eventually, when we get a building, we're gonna do grooming.
Yes.
Because I love doing dog grooming. It's so much fun. And then also you can do training with the grooming stuff.
Because a lot of dogs can't get groomed because they're so reactive.
Yes,
I just recently had a friend who went through this, and she ended up having to go to the vet and having the dog, a little sedated, and
that's
try
how
to get through that.
Yes, Kahlúa is known for being sedated for his nails, because he's a hot mess express.
Yeah.
So
you have this incident at school. Mm-hmm. You attempted to take your own life.
Yes.
Kahlúa's with you in this time period.
Yes.
what happens from there? How does Kahlúa spark you to get to this level of you're like, wait a minute, I have a purpose here.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm so needed on this space. Like, how do you get to that?
Well, so it's kind of funny. So I had adopted Kahlúa. He was still intact, so they neutered him, so I couldn't get him for another 3 days, as shelters do.
Yep.
I mean, good on them for actually neutering and spaying their dogs, because that's a whole other issue.
Yeah,
and the
that's
breeding
lovely,
rings,
right.
especially down south, are wild. And on the day I went to go pick him up, actually, I was in a club on campus called insPAWed. Where we went to go volunteer at animal shelters. Very often. We've done equine, we did the community shelter that was like half an hour from our campus, so we had done a bunch of them. And I texted the girl, like our president, I was like, hey, I don't mind taking people there, but I need one spot in my car. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, I adopted a dog 3 days ago.
Oh, goodness.
So, and I mean, that's really when I started to be like, oh my gosh, the shelter system's a hot mess.
Yeah.
And after that kind of incident with Kahlúa, I actually did go back and do another session with them for volunteering. And I was like, you know what? I don't know. So one thing I actually ended up doing in my dorm room, mind you, which was definitely not allowed, is I fostered a bunch of dogs in my dorm room. Do not recommend, do not do it.
Yeah, we do not recommend any of this, but
it is not approved. But my the person who ran my floor did know. But so he would always be like, hey, they're doing checks. Like, get the dogs out. And I was like, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So they went to go stay in my friend's dorm on the other side of campus. Don't do that.
Yeah.
It's not okay.
So many people, I know, so many people behind the scene, more earth angels doing their work.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, eventually, Soul Dogs is trying to definitely branch out and have foster programs in college campuses, because it'll help the college kids, it'll help the dogs. Like, it doesn't have to be a crazy bite history dog. Like, I got a request for this dog and they're just moving and they can't take the dog and it's perfectly friendly, the whole thing. And it's like, wow, a college kid would love to hang out with a dog, or like a cat, So that's a program we're definitely looking into, like trying to get into happening.
Would be wonderful. That would be wonderful.
Yeah, so far we haven't had any colleges take us up on it, but we're still working on that, and I am not going to accept no.
Yeah, you just keep going, because you know what? This is sometimes just saying it out loud, brings the universe gets in line and brings all the magic.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So what do you think if your pet could talk? And I'm even going to say Xavier.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
What do you think they would say about your success story? Because I honestly feel Xavier really was the dog that made you take the leap.
Yeah.
And then what happened after that was really the magic.
So it's really funny. I'm actually writing a book about Xavier and Kahlúa.
Excellent.
Called The Second Soul Dog.
Yes.
It'll be released in our pen name, because my family has no idea that I'm even doing it, but there is going to be a silhouette of Kahlúa on the cover, so that's something I'm working on, because I do love writing. I think, having to give a dog back is not a great experience. I was so upset. I was like, I don't even want to go to the shelter again. I'd never want to go.
Well, it has a lot of shame.
It's heartbreaking. It is absolutely heartbreaking. And it's funny, because make sure you always read the fine print when you adopt a dog, because they said if you adopt a dog within 30 days, they could take them to the hospital and do it for free. Oh. So I lost my soul dog because I didn't read some extra papers. Read the fine print.
So repeat that one more time. That's worth repeating. There's small fine print on this contract.
Read it. Every time you adopt a dog or anything you have to do with your pet care, please read the contract. I cannot tell you it enough. Because that was a very low point in my life. And my friend, she's like, come on, like, we're going on an adventure. She brought me to the shelter. I met Kahlúa. I was like, you know what? Okay. I can do this.
A lot of it takes two, and I'd love to hear what you think, is, I hear people who have had a pet for 15 years and the pet passes away.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm never getting a pet again. And I always say, why would you lose on 14 years, 364 days for that one day that's the worst part of the entire experience?
It's because, especially with the whole concept of a soul dog, right? If you adopt your absolute soul dog and it's like, oh my gosh, this thing was just ripped away from me. It's like, well, now there's just this hole, no other dog is going to match that. And that's exactly why I say Kahlúa's not the dog I wanted.
Right.
When I returned Xavier, it was like this gigantic hole. And I actually as much as this is. This is also on our website. Like, this whole story is written out on the website.
Yeah, this is you. This is your story. This is your journey.
I have no issue telling people up front, it's like, hey, I run this, organization, but I returned my very first dog.
Right. I think it's actually something that's never said out loud because it carries so much shame.
Exactly.
So I applaud you for saying it out loud, honestly.
And I feel like a lot of people, it's like, oh my God, it's bad for business. Yeah, don't do that.
I don't think it's bad for business
either. I've been in
either.
places where they're like, oh, don't tell anyone that. It's like, I'm going to be fully honest in what we are doing in our community because our community is going to help us get to where we want to be.
Your authenticity is the key. I'm back to this. I talk about this almost every show. It's real life. It's true. People will relate to that. People will respect you for saying that. And if they're shaming you or not good with it, then there's some other place for them.
Yeah, and then, on our website, if you go to like our community outreach page, which does need a facelift, so I'm going to work on that eventually. Doing the admin work is the worst.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Especially because I'm the only one who can do the website because I want it done a certain way. Best kind of battle the face, I guess. We are actually adding a free pet food program onto our roster because, while I was trying to find a place for him, I couldn't afford to feed my dog.
Oh my God, I have so many connections about this.
So,
do.
It's definitely something, we're looking for. I personally have been buying all of the food out of pocket and, just texting people on Facebook and being like, hey, like, are you willing to donate? We do have a donation form on our website particularly, so you can be like, you don't even have to be home. Like, you can just put it out somewhere and we'll come grab it on our pickup days. And then, free info sessions. We just did one on reactivity triad a couple months ago. I'm trying to do another one for canine nutrition. And the goal is to do them like every other month, I think, for now. We usually do them at the library in that big auditorium that they have, which is really nice.
So many animals, so many, right? It's just, oh my goodness. I know I'm listening to you and I'm like, wow, there's just so much need out there and it's, you want to reach them all, but it's like, you're just one person. And
but like, I mean, ultimately we do anything. I do anything I can, the team I do have is amazing. They're so great between our HR individual helping these college kids get their internships done because they do internship with us.
Yeah,
We're always looking for more people.
Yep.
We're trying to coordinate some volunteers with new drivers because we definitely need more transport drivers because over the last week I've gotten like 8 or 9 transport requests and it's like, I can't take time off of work because I run this center. But I also worked full-time. I actually work 2 jobs now. Yeah. And on top of that, I'm a dog mom.
It's like the job that's paying all the bills and the side hustle love job. I get it.
It's so heartbreaking.
So Xavier would be like, you keep going, girl. This momentum started. And Kahlúa absolutely would say what? What would Kahlúa say about you?
I think he'd be like, I don't really care what we're doing as long as there's a snack involved. Including sacrificing him to other dogs. It's funny, I do still look on, Xavier's report. He has been in the same home, as far as I know, since I had brought him back.
How lovely is that?
So it's really good to know that, I hope and pray that, they were good enough people I'm really hoping, this is the narrative I've drawn in my head, they are Rottweiler people, they knew what they were getting into, because I had mentioned that he had hip dysplasia. I don't think the rescue ever put it on there.
Yep.
Which is the other issue is rescues do hide a lot of stuff, which blows my mind.
Oh, goodness.
Especially down south because they're so over capacity. When I adopted Kahlúa, there were 375 dogs and their capacity is like 125. So he was free. My dog was free.
Right, so we're back to again about there's some responsibility everywhere across the world.
Oh my gosh,
on doing the right thing.
My mom actually adopted a dog from us. One of our first dogs that came in. He's barrier reactive. He's an absolute nut at the windows. He will bark at everything. And I did tell her that. I'm like, hey, you want this dog, you're keeping him, have so much fun. One of my other heartwarming stories about our first rescue dogs is, so that dog came in with a sibling. His name's Prancer now.
Prancer.
It was Thor, but he does prance around, and it's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. And then there was Loki, who was the sibling, who actually a veteran adopted him. They were perfect. He's like, yeah, I'm just looking for a companion dog to go out and hike with. And I was like, oh, I got the dog for you. Perfect. And so it was funny because, not funny, scary. The guy texted me over Facebook and he's like, I don't know what to do. I can't find the dog. And I was like, okay. Like,
everybody's worst nightmare.
Literally, we just adopted this dog out to you. And he's like, I'm never going to be able to keep this dog. And I was like, it's fine. Like, I know my town. I know what town you're in. It was Salisbury. So I was like, I know the town enough. Like, let's go figure this out. Like, there's plenty of nature areas where this guy lived. And it was kind of so strange because he's like, I drove around all day long. And I was like, I've been calling vet clinics, like I've been calling places to see if anybody happened to see a dog, whatever that matches the description. And he goes, hold on. I said, okay. He was pulling into his driveway. He goes, you'll never guess. And I was like, what? He goes, the dog was sitting on my front steps. Because he's like, the dog ran out of the gate and went for it. And then when he came back, he was sitting on the steps and he's like, this was my dog. And I was like, I'm so happy I was able to do that.
Oh my goodness.
You know, and we have so many like perfect adoption stories. I think my other favorite adoption is Miss Pearl. We're actually still paying off her boarding bill, which is so heartbreaking that we have to board them when we do. But you know, she needed out. Unfortunately, the family, they did everything that they could, but unfortunately the care just wasn't going to be their priority anymore, which I totally understand. Family changes, I get it. So, you know, we took her in. Amazing family. They're super sweet, you know, and they still like get check-ins and everything now and then. Because we do check in. We'd send birthday gifts to our adopted dogs for free because, you know, it's like, we're so grateful for you guys.
What year did you start this?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yes.
And so how many dogs have you have passed through your doors, successfully made it to a family?
Yeah, well, so 2 years ago, we started the service aspect of it. And I think, oh my gosh, we only started doing rescue from April of last year.
Okay.
So it's only been a year doing the rescue, and I think we've had, let's see, Lucky, Thor, Pearl, Raina. Oh my gosh, I know her name. It's not in my head. I have a little book of all the dogs that go through our doors, and their intake date, their adoption date. Favorite thing is dogs on the front.
Right.
I think between 6 and 7, I feel like I'm missing a dog, and I definitely like am.
I don't know how you sleep at night. I mean, that's a lot in your head. Seriously, it's a lot of worry and my goodness, it's like you're made for this. It's definitely a vocation that I feel finds people.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny.
Every rescuer I've met has been like, oh, I decided to, you know, work during this natural disaster and I found my purpose, or I met this one cat that changed my life. And and that's really how this idea started for the show was, you know, Nigel is on Instagram all those years, and I would come learn about so many different people and oh my goodness, all these businesses. And I'm like, wow, do people understand how much animals find their purpose for people? And so it's just wonderful.
You know, it's funny when I called my mom, I was like, Ma, I'm dropping out of college again. And she's like, oh my god, what are we doing now? I've transferred around to 4 schools. Now I go to NECO and another one online for my animal accreditation. I'm going to NECO for their business management program, which is great. And the teachers are amazing, you know, and I mean, honestly, all the faculty that I've met, they're just helping with soul dogs.
We have to have it all figured out when we get into college. Sometimes we say, like, my goodness, you know, you get in there and you'd be like, wow. I know people have been through all 4 years, and the one thing they said, you know, like, I'm going to be a teacher. And I remember my friend getting into the classroom and she's like, this is absolutely nothing what I want to be.
Exactly.
But she stayed in the education field. It just wasn't teacher, didn't fit what she thought it was going to be. And
exactly.
It's all about figuring it out. It's fine.
Well, so my first college, I went to Johnson & Wales for culinary arts. Hated it. And they didn't even have any like food allergy options for my disability, which was also insane. So I hung up unauthorized flyers to deal with that situation. Faculty was mad, but something got done about it. So I was like, that's all that matters. I'm happy.
I guess that was the purpose there.
Literally, exactly. And then, you know, from there, I went to the University of Tampa, which is where I got Kahlúa. And I was like, oh, I'm going to do writing. And then I, you know, kind of swapped over to do their vet program. And I was like, what the heck, man?
How lovely they had the vet program there, though.
I didn't finish it.
That's okay too, right?
And so I transferred, well, I couldn't afford to stay down there in Florida, which I would have, like, I really did like Florida a lot. I mean, I just did a transport there and I have family down there, so I visited anyway. It took a few extra days for recuperation, is what I called it. And so it's funny, I ended up coming back up here, enrolling in the community college and Huston University in Bangor, Maine. So no, I'm a certified
Kahlúa
trainer.
Followed you through all this.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, Kahlúa has been through many transitions. He does them very well, but now that he's getting older, he's a little grouchy.
Yeah, he's like, all right, lady.
He's like, all right, like, when can I just like take my nap? He's like, get me out of the car. I want to take a nap. Yeah. What? Yes, you're very cute. Hi.
And Kahlúa is, what did you tell me? 18 breeds or 13?
13.
13 different breeds. Mostly just handsome. Breed of handsome, huh, Nigel? Yeah. Good boy.
Good shake.
I love it. Kahlúa is very calm. He's just a calm dog.
He is, and that's why he would have been absolutely the perfect. He was the perfect service dog. He was chill, like literally anything. It was totally fine. One of the people in one of my classes actually brought their own dog from home, and I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, is that an emotional support animal? They're like, no. And I'm like, is it a service dog? And they're like, no. And I'm like, then I can't be in the classroom. And they're like, what do you mean? And I sit there, and I'm like, you should look at this, please. If you're going to bring your dog somewhere, figure it out. Okay.
It's interesting that the professors and stuff are even...
My professor was great.
Yeah, I mean, everybody loves a dog. Everybody
Yes.
wants, I know,
Yeah.
everybody wants everything to be fine. But again, there's a one caveat, and that's that if something goes wrong,
Yeah.
it's going to ruin it for everybody that needs it.
Yeah, well, so
Let's
it's funny.
not contribute to that.
Yeah, this particular professor, he was my creative nonfiction professor. He's actually from this area. He's the best professor I've ever had in my life.
Yep.
And I wish I knew what he was doing because I would love him to write the foreword for my book.
Yeah.
I really would. Because he experienced Kahlúa in the classroom.
Yep.
It's funny. So, what are you doing? You guys are so cute.
And it would be great if we could just bring our pets everywhere we went. I mean, I would love that
Yeah.
world. That'll be the
that'd be
next
great.
journey.
Yeah, right? The next venture.
So I have one fun question I like to ask,
Yes.
and it's called Spill the Treats.
Okay.
And that's one fun, what's one fun, quirky, or surprising thing about your pet or your journey together?
Oh, I have the best one.
Oh.
So, obviously Kahlúa is very highly trained.
Yes.
You know, in a various array of things. We do dog sports. We're starting dock diving again this season. I'm so excited.
You do dock diving.
do. He's a little finicky.
I've been trying to get the dock people to Haver's Wolf Stock. Are you hearing me, dock divers?
Yeah. I don't know, it's fun. He likes swimming and it's good for his hips because he
Yeah.
actually was hit by a car and it healed wrong. So his hips are funny.
I'm trying to picture Kahlúa flying off that dock. Wow.
Yeah, he's kind of a nightmare though. He's a
He's a
little weird though.
superstar.
He is. Well, so his super, super fun fact is not only does he speak English, but he actually also speaks Gaelic.
What?
And he knows his hand signals.
He knows Gaelic and
He
hand
does.
signals. So how do you know Gaelic for him to know Gaelic?
So I actually taught myself. My family is very, very Irish in origin.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I actually traced my family back to like some of the original settlers that were here.
Oh,
So
my
it's like
goodness.
this huge heritage thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I love Irish culture. I love the Celtic culture. It's so fascinating to me. And so I was like, I really want to like learn this totally in unneeded
Yes.
language. Kahlúa, you tag.
What I love about that is I know a lot of the protective sport dogs, you know, in police law
Yes,
enforcement,
yeah.
they use German, right?
Yes,
a lot of
they
German
do. Yeah,
for their
and French. Yeah,
and
well,
French.
it's so funny. So I brought Kahlúa back in Florida. I love you. To like, it was a bark in the park situation. I was
Yep.
like, oh, like we stumbled upon it by accident. I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. It's funny, you know those like treadmill things that they have in the vans. He
Yes.
tried that for the very first time. He hated it. So we'll stick to swimming for him. And I had talked to a guy who was there with some Belgian Malinois, which is the police canine.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, like I have this dog and I want to train him in a unique language. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, I was thinking like, you know, French or German, but I wanted something totally different for what he's going to be used for. And they're like, okay. And I was like, well, what about Gaelic? He goes, you should do Gaelic. I've never heard anybody train their dog in that. That'd be the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life. I was like,
Absolutely.
okay. So he knows Irish, he knows English, and he knows his hand
So how
signals.
do you say sit in Gaelic?
Sweet.
Sweet. Oh, maybe not for me. Sweet?
Cool.
Kahlúa, sweet?
Back your booty up. I know you're stuck. What are you doing?
All right, so say the basic commands. Sit, stay,
Okay. Yeah, okay.
and he doesn't have to perform. Just you say them. I'd love to hear it.
I want to see if he does it.
Nigel, sit. You sit. Thank you.
So that's sweet. Down is so similar to sweet, so I'm trying to come up with like a different Gaelic word.
Oh, he's just going to do it.
Great. I love
Just
that.
heard down.
I love that. Good job. You're a great boy.
Nigel, you down. 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 Good job.
So down is actually shees and sweet, but because they're like the same connotation and everything, it's very hard for him to tell them apart because he's a dog.
Yep.
You know, ultimately. So we're trying to come up with something a little bit different. He knows middle. He knows toe side, which is like come to my side or be in my little bubble. God, he knows so many things. He knows touch. I forget what touch is in Gaelic, though. He just does it without me even asking him.
That's beautiful. I love it. I've never met anybody who speaks Gaelic, and that I know about, but their dog is trained in Gaelic. That's really
I wanted something
amazing.
Super unique. He is a very unique dog. I mean, we have a unique story, so I really wanted to do something super totally different.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing such heartfelt, really personal stories. I think they're very important for people to hear.
Yeah, I'm an open book when it comes to that stuff. I mean, because without all this stuff that I've been through, it's like, well, soul dogs wouldn't exist ultimately.
Well, it's you, right? The journey of what we go through creates why we're doing what we do and who we are today.
Absolutely.
And without that, we're not who we are for these things. And it's, to take something so tragic. Suicide's nothing to fool around about. Yeah. But to take that and make something so beautiful out of it is really makes me want to cry. I'm such a softie. But it's just, you found that purpose. It's not that I wish that on anybody. Mental illness and mental health and all of that is serious business. But to find something so creative and beautiful out of it is just magic. So thank you. Thank you for joining us and sharing that story. It's amazing. Yeah. And a special thank you to HC Media for providing the studio space and supporting community storytelling. But before we wrap up, where can people find you, follow your work, find Kahlúa? Give it us all the goodies.
Where can't you find us? We have Facebook for Soul Dogs Resources. Kahlúa has his own Instagram, which is Kahlúa, KAHLINIOS. So it's like a plan like Kahlúa and Malinois, because originally we were like, oh, he definitely has some mouth because of his base.
How many followers does your dog have?
I actually don't know.
We don't care. He's a superstar.
I have no idea. Yeah, we do a lot of his reactivity work on there. Just really cute photos of him playing with his new friends. Ellie is one of his new besties, so they always gallivant together in the woods. Soul Dogs Resources can be found on Yelp, Google, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah, everywhere.
Excellent.
Everywhere.
Excellent. And insPAWed can be found on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So make sure you tune in and follow us. And of course, this show will be aired on HC Media. If these stories inspire you to share your own, please consider applying to be interviewed. Information about being a guest can be found on all my platforms. And thank you for supporting these stories. And I'll leave you with this one question. How have you been insPAWed? Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you
it's been
for having
a delight.
Us.